Okay, Farissa, hopefully we getting this recorded. I tried. Hopefully everything is good to go. All right, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Arnold Westbrook. I am the coach of the Virginia State University Speech and Debate Team. We call ourselves the DB8 Society. DB8 scans, if you say it real fast, it says debate. But I also have a speech, which we also sometimes call forensics at the high school level. So thank you, Samantha. Samantha is my assistant. She's my number one debater. She's my top debater, and she will be helping me out and chiming in. You'll get to know her in a few minutes. Why do we call ourselves the Debate Society? Because debate is my primary focus, but I also wanted to start my students with understanding the power of public speaking. A lot of times I feel like people are afraid, whether it's 5 people or 10 people, to them it might feel like 500 or 10,000 people that they have to speak into. So the level and the mass of an audience sometimes is relative to a person that is trying to find their voice and really understand their confidence in this art form of speech and debate. And I keep saying speech and debate, even though this is a debate competition that we're about to embark upon in 2 weeks, the social justice debates. So a lot of what I'm gonna do today, hopefully, will be these last minute preparations as we get together. And transparently, this is a new tournament for myself as well. I've been doing the social justice debates here in America for the last 3 years, but this is my first time coming over and crossing the borders into another continent, into another country, Tanzania, that I'm excited for my debaters about. But we have a topic that is very foreign to us, and it's like, where do we even begin? So you'll see that I'm gonna get to that later on about here we are, we feel like we're stepping into a territory that everybody else has such a head start on us. But one of the things that is very teachable to get started with is confidence. You have to have confidence in self. So I'm gonna come back to that. And then just understanding that your voice is your voice, whether or not you have an accent, whether or not you are male or you're female, you have to be confident in who you are and speak eloquently and articulate so that the audience can understand you, but ultimately you want them to feel you. You want to feel a connection and make a connection with your judges and with anybody else in that room that can hear you, because that might be the small difference in you winning or losing that debate is how well does the audience connect to you. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I have a PowerPoint that I would like to share with you. Let's get this together. And the topic of, let's see, share, here we go. The topic, and let me make sure everybody can see that before I get started. Should be coming through now. Is that legible to everybody? Can somebody give me a thumbs up or chime in if you can see that?
We can see it, thank you.
All righty, thank you. That's what I like. Engagement. See, I got one already. So, debate without fear, the secret weapons of teamwork and confidence. Regardless of the resolution, regardless if you're a seasoned debater that's been doing this for 3 or 4 years, or this is your first tournament and you're a little bit nervous or scared, the goal is to not step into anything with a fearful mindset. One of the notes that I would just like to give to you is that fear is an acronym if you can so look into it that way. Fear stands for false expectations appearing real. So all the negative things that you might conjure up to think about what could or might go wrong in 2 weeks when we're at this social justice debate, throw them out the window. It's just something, it's a little monster that's trying to say, you can't do this. And I'm here to tell you today that you can. Because with the secret weapons of teamwork and confidence, any and everything is possible. And then we'll get to the point of understanding that there is no such thing as losing. There's winning and learning a lesson. We replace that L with learning a lesson. How can I get better next time? What can I take from other opponents that I can utilize in my style of debate? What can, again, I learn from being in this environment to prepare better next time? So again, don't look at it as losing, look at it as learning a lesson. But it all starts with the secret weapons of teamwork and confidence. And then ultimately we'll get to a point where I like to throw a little bit of information to how to help you out with the actual debate itself, if you are a seasoned debater. Let's move on. Slideshow from the beginning. Okay. Hopefully this works. What will be covered in this workshop? So I've broken it down into 4 parts, and I know I have 5 up there, but it's actually 4. And that's a typo on my part. Forgive me for that. But the 5th part would have been pregame, which I'm gonna get to in a second. So you have the pregame, you have the 4 quarters of success, I have a few drills to hopefully get some engagement with you, the audience, an overview of cross-examination, which is a very vital part of debate. And then ultimately we can wrap up with any questions or comments at the end with time permitting. Why do I call it the 4 quarters of success? Because I believe that debate is a sport. Whereas you have basketball, or in our country, we call it football. Many of you might call it soccer, or our soccer is your football, or baseball, or tennis, or any of these other sports that we might see at the Olympics. Debate is a sport. Because if I was to define debate, or excuse me, define sport, a sport usually has certain characteristics like, is there room for practice? Very much so needed in debate. Is there room for individuality as well as teamwork? Very much so in debate. Even though at social justice it is a team, there is another style of debate called IPDA that my team does here at Virginia State University, where it's a one-on-one style of debate. Is there opportunities for winning and losing in sports? Yes, there is. So why shouldn't debate be looked at as a sport? So to help you out with this, I've tried to break it into 4 quarters so that we can move things along at a nice pace and we can hopefully keep up with me, and then you will see why do I feel like debate is a sport. Well, like any sport, as I was just saying, the first thing you got to do before you actually begin is pregame. What to do before the actual competition. And then we're going to go into a little bit of confidence in self. So what do I mean about pre-gaming? Pre-game, I've broken down into 2 parts. The first is personal. We have to lock in beforehand. How can I limit distractions? Distractions can come from a lot of different avenues and a lot of different angles. One of the main distractions that you might have is your academic success. And many of you, I will guarantee that you are a very good scholar that is about to be wrapping up your semester, and you probably are having tests and finals or other projects to present or things that you need to wrap up with before you actually compete in this tournament. Us personally in America, we just wrapped up a month ago. Our semester ended May 7th. So we don't have the pressure of that, but we do have the pressure of, again, our academics coming first. So as I move through the year with my team, I am worrying about their grade point average. I am worrying about their other responsibilities on campus, other clubs they might be in, other obligations that they have some of them have to work, which goes into my second point of your family personal issues. How many of you have a mother that may call you and be like, hey, Jacob, you jumped in. Okay, I thought you had a question, Jacob, sorry. How many of you may have a mother that jumps in that really cares about you, or we call them over here a helicopter parent that's always wondering, is my daughter okay? Is my son okay? And she's calling to check on you, if not every day, every other day. And she's telling you what's going on back home with your little brother or your little sister. Or she's telling you about, things that are going on, or your dad is, working to provide for the family. and he might have some health issues that, unfortunately, as we get up earlier in age, and our parents especially get up early in age, we have to deal with parents that are aging and they have health problems. How can that affect our preparation? I'll give you one prime example of this. We have a tournament over here that was called the social justice debate at Morehouse, the championships. And one of my students did not tell me that before we left to go down to Atlanta, Georgia for about a 4-day stay, his father was gravely ill. He told me when we got back from the tournament that his father was gravely ill and was going into hospice. And his name is Zen. He's not able to be with us today. He actually just got back from studying abroad in Ghana. But I was like, Zen, because he told me, Mr. Westbrook, we got back here at the campus at almost midnight our time. He's like, Mr. Westbrook, I got to go back home. He stays about 30 minutes away. I was like, Zen, we just got back. You don't want to rest? No, he wanted to go check on his father. And then he told me the next day that his father was in hospice, gravely ill, and his father actually died 5 days later. In retrospect, I was like, Zen was holding that the whole time that we was at this tournament. He compartmentalized and he told me that he had talked to his father, and his father pretty much gave him permission to say, go ahead and compete, go down there and do the best that you can do. And Zen went down there, and he was actually Samantha's partner that you'll meet later, and they did very well at the debate, very well at the debate. And then he came back later after his father had passed, and 3 weeks later, we had the HBCU national tournament, and Zen went on to be national runner-up in that tournament. So in the span of a month of him knowing his father was sick and his father actually dying, Zen competed very well at 2 debate tournaments. It was a little bit of an escape to say, you know what? I can't control life, because life, as we say over here, life sometimes. Life can life on you sometimes. And a lot of times that life comes from your family or personal issues. But what I can control for about 1 hour for a round or a day or two is how well I debate. And it can make everything just be silent for a second, and you might find a little bit of peace of mind. But how do I do that? It's all about locking in beforehand. And then third is my work-life balance. Some of you have to work a part-time or a full-time job so that you can pay for school, or that you can pay for some of the necessities that you need for school, maybe not school itself. Well, how do you balance that with your studies? How do you say, okay, I need to make sure that I have time for my rest, my work, as well as my play? There's only 24 hours in a day. And if you look at some Masonic law, they said break it up into 8, 8, and 8. 8 hours for some form of rest, 8 hours for some sort of work, 8 hours for some sort of play or personal time, whatever that may be for you. But all of that, all in all, is before the actual debate starts. Personal prep is just as important as your case prep. Notice, I haven't said anything about the actual debate itself and the resolution and how much research and time that goes into that. You have to prepare yourself before you can prepare for the actual tournament. So what are your rituals? This is where I'll chime in. Does anybody have any rituals before the tournament that they do to ground themselves? Anyone? I hear someone, but I'm not sure if you're speaking. Okay, I think somebody's talking. If you don't mind muting yourself. Somebody raised their hand. Go ahead, Gabriella. I see you. Go ahead, Gabriella.
So I haven't really participated in a debate, but I do play basketball. And usually before games, I usually pray, then listen to music, and then just sit still for maybe about 10, 15 minutes, and then just interact with everyone around me and just forget about the game And then, yeah, basically that's what I do. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriella. You hit on something that I didn't want to force upon anybody, but my team knows that we have to have a prayer before we leave for the debate. We have to have a prayer before we, at the debate, and we actually separate to go in our separate rooms, and then we pray again when it's over. We can't do, or at least I believe we can't do anything without God on our side, because with God on our side, everything is possible. But it is about centering yourself. So again, how do you center yourself? Listening to music. Do you have your playlist ready? Because again, we're coming from a different country and we have to have a playlist downloaded so that we can listen to the music that is going to center us and calm us down before we actually debate. So those were two great things of locking in beforehand to limit those distractions. Prayer, as well as any type of music or meditation or something along those lines. So you know thyself first and what it takes for you to be grounded, and then you start knowing your case, knowing who you are as a debater. Because preparation isn't about just knowing your argument, it's about knowing who you are. Because this is a team style debate, social justice debate, either 2 or 3 are on a team. So you have to know, are you the better speaker or are you the stronger writer? Because I always try to, when I have teams of sometimes 8 or 10 or 12 students that are on my team, I have to find that dynamic of who works well together. Because I don't want 2 strong speakers on the same team. Why? Because they might start trying to overtalk each other. I need somebody to be a balancer out of, okay, he's a good talker, but she's a good researcher. He's good at cross-examination, but she's good at laying the case out as an opening speaker. There has to be, as Gabrielle just said, in basketball, some sense of how do I play with my teammate, or as I like to say, to dance with your teammate. You need a good dance partner. Because if anybody's ever done or seen a waltz or a samba or some of these classical dances, you don't want to be stepping on somebody's toes when you're dancing. You want to flow together so that it looks eloquent and it looks like you've been doing this all along. So it's a dance. How well do you know your partner to know what are their strengths and weaknesses, and do they know your strengths and weaknesses? Do you perform best under pressure or with lots of structure? Me personally, I try to absorb my students' pressure. I try to take everything as much as I can off of them and say, now that we're almost time for the debate, just focus on the debate. Let me handle the airfare. Let me handle the hotels. Let me handle the excursions. Let me give me the faith that I'm gonna take you through and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna go a hike on Mount Kilimanjaro. We're gonna see some things that we've never seen, but I need y'all to go handle that debate. I need y'all to go prepare. I need to see while I'm here at work and I'm wrapping things up, Samantha is helping me out to say, hey, 1 or 2 hours a day, they're getting together to go over the case. What if I learned today? What am I adding on today that I didn't have yesterday? But you have to know again your style. Some people work better under structure. They don't want to see all disheveled. And I know that's many of my students. They don't want to be all disheveled. They want structure. They want to know, Mr. Westbrook, what time you want me to be up? Ms. Westbrook, what time does it start? It starts at 1 o'clock. We get there, it's 1 o'clock, and it don't start at 2 o'clock. Mr. Westbrook, I thought you said it don't start at 1 o'clock. It actually starts at 2 o'clock, but I tell them false times. That's another little point. Sometimes it's good to give yourself false deadlines or false times so that you are not rushing until the last moment. Let me give you a prime example. I was getting ready for this workshop right here today. My mind said 7 o'clock is when my workshop is. I just got off a meeting with the US Embassy at 11:30, 11 o'clock my time, excuse me. And I happened to look at the WhatsApp and I saw Farissa said, Are you ready, everybody? Workshop starts in 2 hours. And I looked like 2 hours? I got 9 hours. I was about to go to the gym to settle myself before I came into this workshop. I was gonna go work off my nerves. Farissa was like, nah, it starts in about an hour. Now I'm scrambling, but I'm not scrambling. You know why? Because I set a false deadline in my mind last night. I wrapped up last night at 12 o'clock. I had this whole PowerPoint ready. I had Samantha with ideas of what she was going to do. We just had to speed it up, but we were already prepared so that when the monkey wrench came in, we're here hopefully showing you a polished presentation that you'll all get something out of. But you have to know your style. Are you better under pressure or are you better in structure? And how do you balance out your teammate that might be better under pressure and you need to calm them down, or they're better under structure, so you take on all the pressure? Finally, when you're actually debating, where do you tend to freeze or rush? I'm gonna skip past that one for right now because time is of the essence. Even like in this workshop, we want to make sure that I don't freeze up and not get to everything and be stuck on one PowerPoint, because this is all personal preparation. Let's move on to team preparation. There we go. So as I was just saying, debate is a duet, not a solo dance. What you should be doing now in this last 2 weeks, learning more about your partner or your teammates. What are their speaking styles? Do they get animated? Do they use their hands and can talk to make a point? Are they more mild-mannered? And meaning that they talk very softly and very distinctly. Again, knowing your partner so that you can compliment them and dance and you look like a good team together. Basketball person, Gabriella, if you know anything about American basketball, you can't put all shooters on one team. Look what happened with the Phoenix Suns. You have 3 of the greatest shooters of the present day: Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal. What happened this year? They were one of the most mid teams, if not one of the worst teams as far as the expectations, because they had too many of the same people on their team. Everybody wanted to shoot, but there's only one ball. So in debate, you have to learn how to say, what is my style? I'm good at talking. Samantha's good at research. Now she can help me out with the research, and I'm gonna help her out with the talking. We're gonna match our speaking styles. We're gonna match our pacing styles. That if me and Samantha would have worked better, Samantha could be down there saying, hey, Westbrook, 2 minutes. Hey, Westbrook, 1 minute. So I can look up and be like, okay, my partner is helping me because I might be getting too lost in my point, and she doesn't want me to run out of time. So she's gonna say, and that means, oh, I got 30 seconds left. Let me wrap it up. My partner is there to help me out, which is the last thing. Do you have signals or do you not want signals? Some people don't want signals. I'll go back to Samantha again. I'm using her as my prime example because I know her style. We normally get 7 minutes to prep in IPDA. I blitz her for the first 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, meaning I blitz her and be like, okay, Samantha, what's on your mind? What's on your mind? I give her a teammate to go help her out. In those last 4 minutes, I remove them because Samantha does not work well like that. Samantha needs it to be quiet so she can hear her own thoughts. She can't take on somebody else's thoughts with 1 minute of prep left to go. What are your styles of helping your partner? Are you going to do hand signals so that they won't run out of time? Are you going to write notes? Because that is very much accessible. I prefer when I see a team writing notes versus I see them typing on their computers. Why? Because I'm always suspect of, I don't want to accuse anybody, but in this internet age, I don't want somebody else feeding them notes through the computer, because I can't see if okay, Samantha is sending me something on the computer so that I can see it, but it actually might be that coach across the room that's giving them last minute help. And I'm a victim of it too. I do it too. I'm honest, I'm transparent. Sometimes I do try to help them out mid-round because I want them to understand that I'm still here for them, but I know when to shut it off to be like, this is your time. So what are your signals or ways to help each other out when you're actually dancing and debating? Build that round, build a round like a blueprint. Have you start writing out your case? People, we all know what the resolution is. Can somebody read me the resolution for social justice debates? Or tell me what it's about if you don't read it, if you don't have it right in front of you. What is the social justice debates about? Anybody? I know we're all as
This,
interesting. Go ahead. Thank
this
you,
is how
Carissa.
this is how I will know whether people are ready or not.
If you know if they're ready or not. No, I'm talking about what is the actual resolution? What is the resolution? Common market protocol, right? Common market protocol versus what? I'm just trying to see who's with me. I know y'all all in different places. Just trying to engage you a little bit. I would think that it's common market protocol versus these other practices or ways that might be better than common market protocol. I see somebody put it in the chat. And Samantha, if you could help me out, work the chat for me. Keep up with that in case I'm missing something. Oh, Farissa, I see what you're saying. Got it. Thank you, Farissa. Yes. Thank you. Gabriella's with me. Gabriella, when I see you, I got something for you, Gabriella. I got something for you from Virginia State University. Because I give out prizes. Prizes is the way to get everybody. Everybody loves a good prize. So Gabriella, you good with me. Make sure you see me next week. Okay, so with that being said, yes, isolated recruitment and protection measures. I say that, people, to say, guess what? Even if you are just getting started today, you still have 2 weeks to pre-game and come up with about 5 to 7 bullet points. Why do I say 5 to 7? Because in the middle of when you're actually in the round, you should only use about 2 or 3. I always tell my students 3. Have 3. But 2 strong ones, 3 definitely if you can. But Mr. Westbrook, why you want me to have 5 to 7? Because we got 5 rounds. You don't know which one might be useful in that round because now you're on the affirmative. Next time you might be on the negative. Have you looked at an affirmative case study? Have you wrote out a negative case study? So that you have pre-games before the tournament and you have pages and pages of notes that you are now ready to say, I know this topic. Why am I scared? Why am I nervous? I put the time in. It's time for me to shine. So have an outline with that flow before the round. It might switch up a little bit, but at least you have a structure that you can say, if nothing else, you came in prepared. I guarantee you it will cut down on that nervousness and that want to be scared because hopefully you just want to do good. That team strategy map. What is that intro going to look like? Are you going to be, what is the tone? Are you going to be more sarcastic and humorous? Are you going to take a more serious approach? Are you going to be a more research-driven person? Or are you going to be a teacher? Like if I was to say, and listen, this is what's not being recorded, I would be like, y'all live there. Can you help me out understand more about common market protocol? Because it's not anything that's new. It's been going on for at least 10 years. What do you know about it? You probably could teach me more in the next hour than I've been studying for the last week. But that's, again, your preparation for any topic, for any debate. How much do you put in before? Constructives. Who plays offense and who handles the defense? I always tell my students, be prepared to look at the negative of the side of the debate. Because if you can anticipate what the negative is going to be, when you're on the affirmative, the negative doesn't catch you off guard. because you've already anticipated what the negatives are going to be. And when you're on the negative, you're more prepared to poke holes in that affirmative. Because we have a famous case over here called O.J. Simpson, the O.J. Simpson trial that happened in the late 80s, early 90s, well, early 90s for the most part. And there's a major part in there. Anybody know a major line from the O.J. Simpson trial? I know this was way before y'all was born, but anybody ever heard of the O.J. Simpson trial? I know I'm dating myself. I'm old. But in this case, Esther
If the
has
glove
something.
doesn't
What you
fit,
got,
you must
Esther?
quit.
What is it?
If the glove doesn't fit, you must quit.
My man. Who was that? Who said that? Because Esther had her hand up.
Say your name.
My name is Victor. I am co-convener with Farissa on this tournament.
Got you, Victor. Thank you, Victor. I got you down too. For something, I got something from you from Virginia State.
Appreciate
So
it.
with this case, I mean, an immaculate case was against O.J. Simpson. I'm not going to get into all the details of it. Go do your own research if you want to. But I think we have another debate topic that you need to be researching now. But basically, O.J. Simpson was accused of murder. Accused. You see my eyes go up like this? Because some people are like, he did it. Regardless, he was accused of murder. And his defense team found a hole to poke in that affirmative prosecution argument. If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. And they put O.J. Simpson up there, and with his big hands, the glove did not get on, and O.J. Simpson was proven not guilty in a court of law and was a major case that sent the whole country into either an uproar or to a violent protest. But that's what I tell my students of. Find that if you are prepared beforehand and you have a negation, a strong negation, find that way to poke a hole in that affirmative case. And once you find that hole, you stretch it open, you pull it apart. And that's coming later in cross-examination. And then ultimately, be prepared for rebuttals. How well can you switch gears in the midst of the debate? Who ties it all up? Who's that final speaker that's going to leave that audience and that judge walking away saying, I should vote for them? How do I do this? Run mock rounds and do it against each other. Debate against each other. Even if you're on the team, one of you is the affirmative, one of you is the negative. And debate against each other so that you can remember going back to this one, learning each other's styles and habits. So that now you can help them out doing the round of, hey, Samantha, they might get you with this later on. You said something that I don't know if you meant to say it, because we get time to prep in the round. We got to help each other out. Don't be a team of two individuals. Be a team that's willing to dance together. So that's the pregame preparation. We're now ready for quarter number one. With quarter number one, take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. Let the debate begin. 2 weeks from now, June 13th, if I'm not mistaken, everybody will be getting ready for their first round of debate. June 14th, 13th or 14th, Farissa. Or Victor. Want to be accurate. The 13th. Thank you. I thought it was the 13th. Thank you. So 2 weeks from 2 weeks and 1 day from now, we'll all be going into our first round of debate. Let's see how we can get started with a very important first quarter. Confidence. If you haven't confidence in self, you're twice defeated in the game of life. I put debate. The brackets go around that. I changed it. With confidence, you won before you've even started. So, Renson, get your confidence up, young man. You got 2 weeks to say, I'm supposed to be here and I'm supposed to win. Esther, don't worry about winning. Keep the wave going. Get your confidence up. Enjoy the journey. Have some fun. Gabriella, center yourself. Pray on it. Do the best. Do that duty that is best. Leave unto the Lord the rest. And anybody else that I just haven't can say out here, have confidence in yourself. That's my first secret weapon. I step into one of my mentors, Morehouse College, and I tell my team that Morehouse is your target. We want to go in and beat Morehouse. I think Coach Doobie just got on. I saw him try to get in. Yep, he's here. I'm calling him out. I always call him out. Why? Because I know who my target is. I don't want them to go in and be like, oh, who's the best? Oh, we the best. But that's our competition right there. Why? Because Morehouse has the track record. He has a proven track record of going around the country. Remember, I told you, we debate against a lot of predominantly white institutions or people that don't always look like us. And he wants, as we say, I use a lot of slang, he goes in and he wants to smoke. They want all the smoke because they know that their voice is strong. They know that they prepared beforehand. And so they can get there and be like, hey, it's nothing racially charged. It's nothing ethically charged. It's nothing age charged. We want to have a good time, but we want to do well, but we have the confidence that we're supposed to be here. And it starts with a quote like this from Marcus Garvey. Knowing before June 13th that you've already won. What are you scared of? Let's go here and have some fun. Confidence is the foundation, not the finish line. If you grow in this social justice debate, then you won. And you can take this into the next 80 years of your life. I want everybody to live to be 100. That's my confidence, that I want everybody to have a long life. The reality is that everybody unfortunately won't. The reality is that some people will have to take an L, but is that L learning a lesson or did they lose? No such thing as losing. Because there's a lot of people that wouldn't even be standing where you are to debate. I have two of my students that are coming that they are nervous because we don't know a lot about this topic. And we're coming into an environment that we want to look around and see the sights like, oh my God, that's Mount Kilimanjaro. Oh my God, these are people that, you know, we can connect. We're called African Americans. We're happy to come home and connect with Africans. Do you understand how our eyes are happy to be like, hey, y'all, can we talk to y'all? We don't want to talk about debate. We want to know, hey, how y'all living? How do y'all have fun? What do y'all do? What are your goals? What are your dreams? But guess what? When they say ding, ding, and that debate starts, we come in to beat y'all. Because their confidence is ready. When we go up against Morehouse, we come in to beat them. We stepping on their campus. We come in to, oh yeah, we give y'all the props. But when that round starts, ding, ding, y'all ain't no better than us. No, oh no, no way possible. No way possible. Because I prepared and I know what I can do. But if you can't look in the mirror, and I'm talking about look in the mirror today and be like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here. Can you look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love me? When the last time you told yourself that you love yourself? If not, can I hear it right now? Gabriella, tell yourself that you love yourself. Renson, tell yourself that you love yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, right there.
Esther, tell yourself that you love yourself. Whoever your name is, I know it's Vita, tell yourself that you love yourself. Naomi, tell yourself that you love yourself. Jacob, tell yourself that you love yourself. And let that love be your foundation for your confidence that you can do this. And don't worry about June 13th, June 14th, it was not you on the stage at the end getting a trophy. Your trophy is that smile on your face that I did it. And I met some new friends along the way. Confidence activates preparation. If I can activate your confidence today, maybe, just maybe, you're going to be able to prepare a little bit more easier over the next 2 weeks. You're going to be able to use some of the things that I'm talking about right now to better get yourself ready for this debate. Because know what you know. Confidence commands the room. I guarantee you, you won't be able to know all the nuances of this resolution. But know what you know and have confidence when you stand up in there and that debate starts. That remember, you love yourself, You're supposed to be here, and it's not about winning and losing. It's about winning and learning a lesson. Command the room. Not always the best example, but I have to be true to what I do. Many of you know our president of the United States that we have right now, Donald Trump. A lot of people don't like him, but I use him as a teaching point numerous times. Why? Because whether you like him or you not, put your feelings aside. Whether you like how he treats people or not, put those feelings aside. Let's use him for a teaching lesson for just 1 minute right now. When Donald Trump enters the room, he has the confidence that commands a room, that even when he is wrong, he will convince half of that room that he's right. He has the confidence to command that room. Will you have the confidence to command your round? Because if you do, then again, your preparation will flourish. Your speaking will flourish, and you'll do very well in the social justice debate. So we're coming to the end of quarter number 1. It's time to move into quarter number 2. I think you've heard enough of my voice. I told you about preparation. I told you about confidence. Let's move into quarter number 2, which is about speaking with power. Then we're going to move into quarter number 3, teamwork. And time permitting, I'm going to go through a little bit quickly about cross-examination. Samantha Collins, the floor is yours. As she gears to come up and gets herself together, look at the quote that I gave for Samantha and just let it resonate with you. But Samantha is a 2025 HBCU National IPDA speaking champion. She is the top speaker out of all HBCUs that attended that tournament. So obviously she's the top speaker out of all HBCUs, because the ones that didn't show up, they didn't show up. But we did, and Samantha won. Samantha, tell them a little bit about speaking with power.
Well, thank you for that lovely
And I'll let you
introduction.
share your screen.
Right. Hi, everyone. I'm Samantha Collins. I'm going into my 3rd year at Virginia State University. I study computer science, but I love debate. I have a passion for it. And I am originally from Jamaica, so I do have an accent. So coming here to America, oh, thank you guys. That's really sweet. Thank you. I see your congrats in the chat. Coming to America, it was daunting. So I too had fears about debating because one, some of the words were pronounced differently than I'm used to. Some are spelled differently, and some words are just completely new to me. However, like you said, we have to speak with confidence. You might not be familiar with all the terms and the jargons that are used, but that's where research comes into play, but you have to lead with confidence. You know that you're not as well versed with some things, but they don't know. They don't know you. So you show up with confidence. Some people say you speak wrong and strong, but you aim to be right and strong, but you do have to be confident. What has helped me, and we do this in our practices as part of warm-ups, Professor Westbrook did ask earlier, what are some ways you guys warm up? We heard prayer, which is good, listening to music, breathing is very key. Thank you. I can't come this time because I'll be in California, but I definitely want to come. I'm a bit jealous, but it's okay. I want to come next year. But definitely breathing, you want to make sure that when you speak clearly, that everyone can hear you. There are no misconceptions. That's very key in a debate because you could say, I believe XYZ, but because it wasn't stated clearly, your opponent may say, no, the opponent said 1, 2, 3, and the judge may believe that your opponent was right because they couldn't hear you clearly. So don't let maybe speaking a different language other than English as your first language be a deterrent to you. You got this. Just pace yourself and you can do it. I just have a little practice here. I'd love some engagement for you guys. This is one of the practices we do in our speech and debate. I have a few words that, please don't Google them. I want you guys to guess what they mean, but say it confidently, like you made up that word, like you created the definition for that word, and make it convincing so that none of us can say otherwise. Before I state the word, do I have a volunteer? That's not Gabriella. You already got your prize. I need someone else to get more prizes.
Sorry, could you
Anyone?
repeat that? Could you repeat that?
Yes, so we're going to do an exercise just to see how we can speak with confidence. I have a few words that I want you guys to say what you think it means, but say it with confidence. It could be completely wrong, but say it with confidence so as to persuade us that that's exactly what that word means and that you used it correctly. Esther, would you like to try?
Okay. Okay, sure, I can try.
Oh, great. So your word is resplendent, and I'm going to put it in the chat. Resplendent. You could try to put it in a sentence or definition. Just speak confidently and clearly.
And don't look it up. Come off the top. Speak with confidence. We don't know. Or many of us may not know what it may mean.
Or maybe
Sure,
you
I
do
can.
know what it means, but you're just not sure. But the key is having confidence in relaying it.
Hi, everyone. This is Victor speaking from Faris's phone. Can I try?
Sure, go ahead, Victor.
Um, sure. So, resplendent, I'll use it in a sentence first. Damn it. I'll use it in a sentence first. Sorry, I just spilled something. Um, Sentence here being Victor is a resplendent speaker. Um, and the definition then from this statement is either top of the top, so the best of the best, um, or something alongside that. So if I say, take this statement with confidence, Victor is a resplendent speaker, then that just kind of highlights the skill that I have, the aptitude, et cetera, et cetera. Running out of words here.
That was good. Thank you, Victor. Do you guys have any feedback for Victor, how he did? Did he do
I will,
good?
I will help
Any?
out because again, I know we want to move it along, Samantha, and I understand it can be a little nerve wracking to jump in on Zoom. Victor, I will say that I like what you said. You definitely use it in a sentence, and the sentence matched up with your definition. Try to avoid those pauses. And again, sometimes that could be just a little bit of repetition. We're going to do this in a few more minutes after one or two more of these definitions. But when you have those long pauses, because I heard you said it is, and you was kind of figuring it out, already have yourself centered so that you can just flow with it. The more you're able to flow, it doesn't seem like you really are making it up on the spot. So this is why we try to practice more with things that we don't know. So again, we're just trying to speak with confidence because again, I don't know if you're right or wrong if I can just look at the way that you deliver it. Don't get so caught up in right or wrong. Remember, I told you, not the best example, but he is. Donald Trump sometimes is very wrong, but he speaks with such confidence that you'll go back scratching your head like, maybe I do need to go and look at what he's saying. Jacob, I see that you want to jump in. Well, first of all, what was the definition, Samantha? How close was he?
Yeah, he pretty much got it right.
I
It's
thought so too.
having a magnificent appearance, being splendid. So that was kind of a key to resplendent. What I would just say too is that the ums, we have a game we call Don't Say because you were right. When you're like, Victor is a resplendent speaker, the top of the top. But then we're like, it's like, does Victor really believe he's a resplendent speaker? And that's where the opponent can come in and like get you. but you did very good. Jacob? No? Gabriella was convinced, so.
Okay, I might
Could I
actually
go?
try this, but Jacob can go first.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, my name is Jacob. I'm a student from Kenya, and I think the word resplendent mean
No, we're gonna give you a
something
new
which
word,
is
Jacob. You get a new
outshining.
word. Hold on, Jacob. You get a new word. What's the next word, Samantha?
Yes. Jacob, for you, I have
Okay,
conundrum.
okay.
When you hear the word conundrum, what comes to mind? Put it in a sentence for us, or how would you define it?
Oh, can I go with? Yeah, okay. Assuming I'm audible, I'm in a conundrum of whether I should sleep or finish the work that is due on time. But hey, who needs sleep? But then again, I need sleep to do the work. So yeah, conundrum that means being in a pickle, being in a dilemma sort of situation, deciding between one or the other things. Yeah.
That was very convincing. That was very good. Were you guys convinced that that's actually a real conundrum that she's having? It might be, but because of how she said it she was very definitive. She was like, this is the conundrum I'm having. There was no if and buts about it. That's her situation. That's the confidence we want you guys to go in, especially if you're on the negative where you have to disagree with the resolution. You have to really have that much more confidence because you're gonna have to combat everything the affirmative is saying, and sometimes they can catch you off guard and you have to think quick on your feet, but just do it with confidence and have your facts. Do we have time for one more, Professor Westbrook?
Well, one more, and then we're gonna do a 30-second don't say
Okay.
Anybody else
Could
like
I
to do one
go?
more definition?
Could I go? That's
Yes.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your word, Esther, is ubiquitous.
Okay. Wait. I I didn't get the word.
Oh yeah, I'll put it in the chat too, but
Oh,
don't Google.
Don't Google it.
Ubiquitous.
oh, okay. So what is this place called? Oh, sorry. The amusement park ride was very ubiquitous. I guess that's the spelling of the word. So it was very enjoyable. It was very delightful. I would like to do it again on several occasions. So here, ubiquitous means it's a memorable event that you had, something you'd like to repeat again. Yeah. So
All right, good job. Any feedback for Esther, guys?
I'm gonna jump in real quickly, Esther. Not again. I applaud you for taking the chance. She'll tell. Samantha will give us the exact definition. The one thing I just picked up on you again. It takes practice. This is not something that I know we're throwing you into the fire right now, or as I like to say, I don't throw people into the fire. I throw them into the deep water of a pool because I believe that you can swim. Miss Westbrook, I can't swim. Yes, you can. You can swim. So thank you for taking the chance. But when you say it, don't say I guess. That was one of the first things you said is I guess. Oh no, you know this. You have to kind of remove those little, and that's why I said the more you hear it and you have to know that you're doing it, you're going to stop doing it. You know what you know. Don't say I guess, and then you also say so yeah, like that's like your filler. So yeah, that's better than but you want to just again work on that flow of continuously talking, which the next exercise is going to hopefully help out one or two of you. And this is how I can help you out with removing some of those fillers and pausers. What was the definition for ubiquitous? Let's see how close she was, Samantha.
Yeah, she did a good job, but ubiquitous means to be present everywhere, omnipresent. So, for example, God is ubiquitous. But you did very good, but definitely what he said, never say I guess or I mean, yeah, like it's not very convincing. You want to be like stern in your words. You could be completely wrong, but if you're convincing, they're going to believe it. And that's what you want to persuade them.
So I'm gonna let you choose, Samantha. I just sent you something as I get them ready for the next drill. The next drill is called Don't Say So as I was just helping a couple of you out, it's a thing that I try to help my students out with, removing fillers, removing words like, yeah, so I think it's like that. I messed up. I messed up. No, you didn't. You didn't mess up. Have that
Or
confidence.
sorry.
I'm sorry, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Don't shoot your own self in the foot. How do you get that? It's about constant repetition of talking. As I told y'all, I love to talk. I mean, I was once told when I was in school that, hey, put Arnold Westbrook in a room and he can make the walls talk. Because I'm gonna keep talking, talking. Like, it's just what I do. I was one of those kids in class that I got in trouble a lot for talking. I just want to talk to people. I want to really get to understand who they are. I want to have conversations. And if I have a conversation, then I got to keep talking. Like, I'll shut up, but I want other people to talk so that it can be a conversation. But with this exercise, what I would like for you to do is I'm going to do the timer, Samantha. I'm going to let you choose whichever one. We're going to try to do 3. What I would like for you to do is Samantha is going to give you a prompt. And I'm going to give you 10 seconds to get your thoughts together, gather yourself, but then just try to speak without saying or taking a long pause. Anybody like to try this drill? Gabriella, would you like to try this drill?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriella. Thank you. I'm gonna set my timer on, Gabriella, and you're gonna see so you can hear it. Remember, you have 10 seconds to gather yourself. Don't start right away, but I'm gonna do like this. That means your 30-second start. Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so when I do like this, that means you need to start talking. All right? Samantha, what is her topic?
Okay, this one's fun. I'm also going to put it in the chat. Your topic is pets are for people without children.
You missed my hand signal, Gabriella. Go.
Sorry, I wasn't able to see that. Okay, can I start?
Go.
All right. I personally am not a fan of pets, but I do think some people need a companion at times. And I do feel like having a pet would sort of make people feel more comfortable in these situations. I do have an auntie that has got dogs, and they do seem quite lovely. I did find the puppies that the dog had given birth to a few months ago quite lovely, but I had a very difficult experience with them when I was younger, and I am not a huge fan of animals. Although for people without children, I do feel like they would sort of give that sort of companionship. Is it
Good
time?
job.
Oh, thank you, I guess.
Cutting you off. Good job. No ums. I caught you wanting to laugh because you knew that you had to keep going. Your mind was like, don't do it. I could tell when you wanted to say but you would say and. You would say but. You will use conjunctions. It's all about practice. And you sounded more confidently by not going, what's my next thought? Just try to keep it flowing. Try to keep it flowing. Can we get one more? Jacob, I was about to call on you, Jacob. You must have known. Go, Jacob.
Same topic?
No, different topic.
Okay.
You put it in the chat and then read it out. And Jacob says, you might not miss my hand signals. I'm going to say go. When I say go, you need to start within 5 seconds, okay?
Okay, Jacob, your topic is If I Ruled the World.
Am I good to go?
Not with that you got 5 seconds. Go.
Well, should I begin? Well, okay. If I have, if I have ruled if I had to rule the world, I would have really bring democracy out of this world, because democracy is not really justice for the poor. So I would have just left out democracy, because democracy, you elect somebody as a result of democracy, and at the end you are going to elect the wrong person and not the right person. So I really think that democracy is not a good thing, and it it
Good job, Jacob. You did. Unfortunately, I caught 2 ums. But you did try to get it together. So again, it's okay. No harm, no foul. Just something to practice on, because this is where your partner, you can do these games on your own. Do the game called Don't Say Give somebody a prompt. Give them, we usually do 1 minute, but for the sake of this workshop, I want to do 30 seconds. But for 1 minute, just try to flow. Just try to keep it going. Just try to keep it going. And give them little small topics like, I just said it. I did it myself. It's something that I have to work on. I told you I work with my students. Don't think that I'm immune to not saying it. Some of the other topics are, my biggest concern for the future is, if I were an animal, I would be. When is lying a good idea? Poverty is a state of mind. One thing that I would impress somebody with is my favorite of the 5 senses. Things like that, you are just getting in the repetition of speaking. And the more you get in the repetition of speaking, eventually you will speak with power. Samantha, can you give any last insight of how, again, whether it is using these drills or leaning on their teammates, or again, many of you, reason why I brought Samantha in, many of you may have an accent to others, like Samantha from Jamaica coming to America, where you don't want anybody to discriminate against you or take it easy on you because of your accent. Speak truth to power and make sure that they respect the words coming out of your mouth. But for them to do that, it starts with preparation, it starts with your own confidence, and now you're in the second quarter of speaking with power. Samantha, any final thoughts?
Yes, my final thoughts would be what you guys just did. Speak more. To speak with confidence, you have to speak more. So I know in the beginning you guys were a bit quiet, but as we got more interactive, I saw more people participating and speaking more. Even if you weren't sure of what to say, you still took the first step. Like the quote he gave about faith is taking that first step. Speaking more, you get more comfortable with speaking and hearing your own voice. I used to not like hearing my own voice, but as I spoke more, did more speeches, did more debates, I got more confident and comfortable hearing my own voice, and that also leads with your confidence. So if it's even speaking to a family member, speaking to yourself in the mirror, recording yourself, speak out loud more, and then that will help you to prepare to speak out loud in the debate. But good job, guys.
Thank you, Samantha. Thank you very much. So, to move things along, this, remember, is the quote. And with that power, you're going to make people feel who you are and what you're about and what you stand for. But let's move on. So, we're now in the second quarter, and third quarter. We're ready for some teamwork. Team is an acronym for Together Everyone Achieves More. Remember, I told you that fear is false expectations appearing real, where team is together everyone achieves more. Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence win championships. Quote from Michael Jordan, one of the greatest of all time in the sport of basketball. Teamwork makes the dream work. Teams often use scrimmage rounds to build adaptability and resilience. As I told you, take time as you're building up over these next 2 weeks. And one person is the affirmative, one person is the negative, and go against each other so that you can know how each other's thinking, and maybe you didn't think about something that was brought to the table, because the way that you spar today might be different from where you spar on Monday, might be different from where you're sparring on next Friday, might be different from where you're actually a day or two before the round. Because as you continually do it, you should hopefully be finding new information or new ways to look at the topic that will give you better ways to, again, prepare for anybody else in any other team, so that you know that nobody is better than you when you see them on June 13th. However, once the round actually starts, your prep is the toolbox, but your partner is your lifeline. You have your cases, you have your notes, you have your research, but your partner is the one that's going to help you out. Remember those hand signals. Maybe you was giving a speech and your partner was getting ready to listen to your opponent, because once you got out of your speech, what normally happens? Your mind is like, oh man, I forgot to say that. Or, I messed up. I forgot, I said too many times. Coach Westbrook said, don't say You're sitting here critiquing your speech. Your partner should be listening to that other team, because you got to get back into the flow of things. Sometimes we're hard on each other. Your partner is there as a lifeline so that nothing is missed in the line of debate until you snap back in it, and then it's their turn to speak and it's your turn to listen. Help each other out. What does that mean? Strong teams adjust roles mid-round. You have to learn how to be able to assist each other mid-round. You got to know how to use your tone to go up and down. Hopefully you've seen how I've tried to add a little humor here or there. I've tried to add in some examples. I try to use my hand signals to make sure you can understand where I really want you to get the passion that I have for what I'm talking about. But that's all your own style. You can pivot where need be. Sometimes, again, you have your 8 points. You gave your 3 in your opening speech, but now you've heard the other person's opening speech and you need to pivot again, or pivot. So you need to look at, oh, I got something for that. But now you can go into your toolbox of preparation so that you can pivot easily and catch them in cross-examination and in your rebuttal. Silent communication is very powerful, very powerful. How well can you speak without using words? Hand signals, eye contact, nodding your head to let them know it's good. My team knows I'll do this quick. Like, don't do that no more. Stay away from that. Like, you said something that I'm like, don't do that. No, don't use that. But that's your silent communication, and that's allowed. That's not cheating, that's helping each other out. During the round, your coaches cannot help you, but your partners can. So develop those nonverbal cues, which you've heard me say before in your prep, but now you're able to use them in the actual round. Use written sticky notes and make sure who's the one that's listening while someone is flowing. So that's quarter 3. Quarter 3 also is about, again, that synergy. If we had a little bit more time, I'm gonna kind of speed this up for now and not do these two, because I do want to get to my other pieces of the workshop. But I would say blind rebuttals. And I'll give you a little bit of time to take your own notes or screenshot or whatever you may have to get these. But try to use these 2 drills to build your team synergy even more, because you did the don't say you've given definitions for your speaking with power individually. Well, how do I build each other up as a team? Do the blind rebuttal. One partner prepares a case, the other hears it for the first time, and then that second partner must flow with it, like go back and repeat and summarize what was said, and then give a rebuttal, so that that you can see how quickly you can think on your feet. That drill should take literally about 5 minutes. Don't make it a long drill. Make it 2 minutes that first person speaks, 3 minutes where the other person flows, gives a rebuttal, and then tries to write their rebuttal, then give that speech within that 3-minute time period, so that you can do at least 3 or 4 within an hour's time period. The purpose of that one is it improves real-time listening, processing, and improvisation. The second drill is switch roles mid-round. Start, but cut somebody off. What we do for my speech team is we have another drill that I would have done if we had more time. It's called change your emotions. So you would literally be speaking for a few minutes in a minute time period, but every 10 or 15 seconds, the captain might be like, change your emotion. So I could be like, today I was walking down the street, and next thing I know, I saw a car come out of nowhere. Change your emotion. Oh my gosh, I got so scared because I thought the car was going to hit me and I never was going to see my mom and dad again. Change your emotion. But then I got really happy because the car missed me altogether, but it was still raining and my umbrella messed up. Change your emotion. But then I got skeptical of, I wonder if that car really had it in for me and was it just God's plan? Change your emotion. And then again, I got really quiet and timid because I forgot where I was walking because I was trying to duck the car. In that change your emotion drill, it gets you to keep thinking on the spot of how do I sound, how is my delivery, and how well can I think quickly. You can do this with debate round. Just get somebody to start their speech, stop them, and you pick up and finish their speech without notes. That only can be done, again, if you have a good dance partner in your teammate where you can finish their speech because you already know the direction that they would have tried to have liked to have went with that constructive or rebuttal speech. I'm gonna stop right here because we're about to move into, let me go back before I do that. Any questions on quarter 1, 2, or 3? Again, individual, speaking with power, teamwork. Any questions so far? Hearing none. I'm gonna go into the 4th quarter. Gabriella, when is the game won and lost? Gabriella, you still with me? Hope I didn't lose y'all. If I lost y'all, I put y'all to sleep.
Sorry, my network connection is in the gate. I beg your pardon.
Sorry, I was saying in a basketball game, when is the game won and lost? The 4th quarter. You can't win the game in the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, so basically, I guess after the last few shots and like the timer goes off, the buzzer. Yeah.
Which is in the 4th quarter. Correct. You with me. I was just making sure that I didn't put y'all to sleep yet. I hate to put you to sleep. But this is where cross-examination now comes into play. So in these last few minutes, of about 15 minutes left, the hardest thing in the world is to win, but it takes a strong character to handle a victory with dignity and the same humility that you handle a loss. What do I mean by that? As I've been trying to say all along, don't go into the social justice debates looking at wins and losses. handle that win and that loss the same way. I have students that are very upset when they lose, but I have to tell them, shake it off. Why do I have to shake it off? Because you have another round to go into in about 15 minutes. You can't get caught up on how well or how bad you did in round one when you still have round 2, 3, and 4 to go. But what's really important, I wanted to give at least one more strategy about the actual debate itself, is cross-examination. Because this is where you can either win or lose the debate if you do want to talk about losing. But remember, I hope that you learn a lesson. And learning that lesson of becoming a better cross-examiner starts with how well do you listen. And now I need to go into showing you one other specific, and I'm going to send this to you, Farissa, this next PowerPoint, and hopefully you can get this to all of the attendees today, because I'm gonna kind of move kind of fast for the sake of time. That I wanted to share this one with, and I'll share both of them with you. But I have a very longer PowerPoint for cross-examination that my teamwork comes. Make sure I get this up first. Stop share. Hold on.
Yeah, I'll definitely share it. It will be on the Google Drive for SJD materials. So yeah, guys will expect to see from there. No problem. That's perfect. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. So before I actually share it, the reason why I went through confidence and teamwork and individual prep first is because everybody's not a seasoned debater. Somebody, I think it was actually one person, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been you, Gabrielle. I'm not sure, but I think it's somebody's first debate. And you might be going up against somebody, this might be their 5th, 6th, or 7th debate. Again, it starts out with confidence in self. The fear is gone. Thank you. Confidence in self. Telling yourself that you love each other. I'm going to do that again. Tell yourself that you love each other, that you love yourself, but as well, you love your teammates. Spread love. Love is the key. Love is the key. But I always tell my students that I'll get people from different walks of life and from different skill levels. But so once I can get them to understand to rely on their teammates, to rely on their own self-confidence, then I can get to these technical things of weighing mechanisms, values, and even cross-examination. I'd rather have somebody that wants to get better than they want to figure out, well, Mr. Westbrook, how do I use my voters, and how do I use what are contentions versus point one? It's the same thing. It's just a new word. Remember the definition. Some people use different definitions than you might be accustomed to, but you still know how to debate. So I have to sometimes lean on people who are stronger in debate because I don't know it all. So I leaned on one of my coaches to help me out, and I'm sharing the wrong one. I want to share. Let me close this. Sorry. I want to make sure I show you the right one. Pull it back. Let me get the right screen up. Sorry, real time. This is why technology will burn you every time when I need it. Let's see, share screen. I need this one. Okay, what do you see now?
I think it's the same one.
Oh, you don't see cross excellence?
Oh, it's the same website though. Yeah, cross
Oh,
excellent.
okay. I didn't know if I was showing it the first time. Okay, it kept my original PowerPoint was showing.
Oh, no, yeah, that was up all the time.
Oh, sorry. Okay, see, technology. I thought I was seeing the wrong thing, but I wanted to show you this. Okay. So, cross-examination. I got this from, because it was called the Richmond Institute of Debate. Richmond Debate Institute, where high school and middle school students can go in the summertime and take a 2-week camp, and they can practice on debate. So I do see students that are practicing debate as early as 7th grade, 7th and 8th grade. But then I might get somebody that comes into college, and this is their first year of debate, versus, again, somebody that's been doing it for 4 or 5 years. I lean on when it's time, and now I have Samantha or Zen or Micah or anybody else on my team, and I know that they're confident. I know that they rely on their teammates. Then I start showing them things like this of let's get into the nitty gritty of you want to be a little bit better so that we can remember if Morehouse is my standard, Morehouse, we have to know how to beat them at their own game. And to do that, one of the main things is cross-examination. Control the narrative when you're cross-examining. Don't let somebody use up all your time. Try to make sure that you're leading them in the direction that you want them to go into by asking good questions. Don't make statements, but those questions should expose weaknesses that you heard in their argument. But you want to be real crafty with it. You want to ask them yes or no questions, but your first few questions should be ones that you want to get them to say yes to. For instance, if I was debating dogs are better than cats, and I'm on the side that, yes, I believe that dogs is better than cats, and my opponent believes that cats, they're on the negation, I'm going to say things like, wouldn't you agree that dogs and cats are both animals? The obvious answer is yes. Wouldn't you agree that dogs and cats could be great companions for elderly? The answer should be yes. Wouldn't you agree then that it takes a little bit of hard work and discipline to feed either that dog or that cat so that they don't go without? The answer still should be yes. Now I'm ready to get them. Well, wouldn't you think that because it takes a little bit more discipline to feed a dog because they actually need you to take them outside for a walk, and that would be more physical exercise versus cats are more independent, might you think that dogs require a little bit more discipline? I'm trying to lead them to say yes because I'm off my quick off the cuff example. Cats are a little bit more self-sufficient. Cats have litter boxes. Dogs are a little bit harder to potty train or house train. So dogs, because they take a little bit more effort, maybe that breeds what I was trying to go in my quick questions is dogs will eventually garner a little bit more of a connection because of the time that it takes to get them to understand that I need you to not use the bathroom in the house or pee on my couch or to tell me when you're hungry or to do certain things. But I want to lead them. I want to make sure I'm leading them in the direction I want them to go. Now, I know that example might be a little bit off the cuff and might not be the best example, but hopefully you'll understand that you want to, again, lead them, expose weaknesses in their argument by being very coy and crafty, and showcase credibility to the judge. You want to show that you have mastered this topic by asking good questions. How do I develop good questions? Dun, 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 dun. You go back to your prep and your notes and your case study and everything that you've been doing for the last 2 weeks to lead up to that point. That's how you develop good questions. And then when you're in the middle of a debate, you listen very intently. And at the bottom of each slide, this is where I can send it to you, Ms. Farissa will send it out to you. Here's a breakdown of what's actually going on in that slide. So this is why I like this slide show. Why cross-examination matters. It definitely sets up your rebuttal. It signals a command of evidence. And it gives your judge a roadmap of now where the debate is going to go. We both came in with cases. I came in with my affirmative. You came in with your negative. That rebuttal is where I tell my that cross-examination is where I tell my debaters, that's where the debate actually starts. Because now it's about who improvises in the moment. Who was listening to those opening speeches to ask the questions that they needed for their rebuttal. How well you listen is very important in cross-examination. Remember what I told you, try to use very short, quick questions, even though my last question was kind of long, try to use those impactful yes or no questions. Stay calm. Even though I always tell my debaters, I love to see a good clash, meaning I want to see somebody start boxing each other. Because I've heard your opening speeches. I'm sitting back like this at the opening speech. Once the opening speeches are done, that's when I'm ready. Now the debate is ready to get started. I want to see who's going to box. It's okay to be a little bit aggressive in cross-examination without being disrespectful. You don't have to disrespect somebody if you are advanced and you see a lot of holes in their argument. You only need to address maybe 2 or 3 to win the debate. Don't be a snarky a-hole, excuse my language, because you wanted to go above and beyond with making that person look bad. So be very calm and still try to be strategic, but make sure that you maintain the George orientation, which means keep your eyes on the judge. Talk to the judge. Let the judge know that you're leading them with the questions you're asking this opponent. You want your judge to remember these questions and answers because you're going to use them in your rebuttal to win the debate. Types of questions. You want to get good clarification on something that you did here in that speech. You want to corner them, as I was trying to do quickly with my dog-cat example. I want to corner them into a block where I know they're not going to be able to get out of. And then I'm going to start comparing the weaknesses of yours versus the strengths of my side. But it all becomes the types of questions that are used. This can be a little bit difficult, so I'm going to skip over this. Again, it's for my more advanced people. You can look over and read it on yourself. I'm going to skip through this and come to control tactics and timing. Normally, there's only about a 3 to 4 minute window for cross-ex. Don't let somebody talk too long with an answer. That's why I say yes, no questions. Don't give them an opportunity to talk for 30 or 45 seconds when you know you have 5 or 6 other questions to come to. And if they are talking long, you can strategically say, that's enough. Don't let them keep using up your time, because I train my debaters to do that. Use up that time. Don't get caught in too many questions. Unless that person is very good with the controlling of it, you don't need to be answering a whole lot of questions, because eventually they might catch you in a trap. But you, as the cross-examiner, you have the right to say, like, that's enough. I'm good. Stop them from keeping talking so you can go on. I have another question. That's good. That's good. But the best way is that, again, try to use yes, no questions. That's all I need is a yes or a no. I don't need a whole paragraph. Give me a yes or a no. Advance moves, again, not for everybody, but impeachment. Quote their evidence directly. Their evidence might be, it might be from 2002 versus all your evidence is from 2023. We talk about this common market protocol, and you got evidence from where it started in 2008. I got evidence from 2024 last year. Leading hypotheticals. Try to lead them into a world that looks like yours. Because remember, you're talking to the judge. So lead them into a world where your world is just so much better that, yes, we need this common market protocol. No, we don't. That common market protocol has been failing for 10 years. We need these other measures and solutions. Lead them with your questions so that it sets up your rebuttal. And plant those seeds for your framework that is to come in that rebuttal and closing argument. Avoid pitfalls. As I told you, stay away from trying to answer too many questions. Sometimes if you know a question is not good for you to answer, I don't really recall. Don't answer it. It's already incriminating that it's better to not answer it than to say, yeah, you're right. Don't answer it. I see something in the chat. Okay, sometimes it gets hard to have a few good folk ideas. Samantha, if you could look at that question and tell me your answer to that in a second, to Jacob's question, statement. I'm gonna let Samantha give me that in 1 second, Jacob. So again, back to this one, stay away from, if you're on the opposite side, stay away from answering too many questions. And as well, unless your questions are leading your opponent, don't just keep asking questions for the sake of being asked. I don't like my student to concede time, but if they've done enough in 2 minutes that's going to be enough for their rebuttals, then I will be like, that's okay. Samantha, any response to Jacob's question as I leave that up? Did I lose Samantha?
No, I'm still here. I'm just going through it. He said sometimes it's hard to have a good flow of ideas, especially when you realize there's a loophole while speaking or delivering a speech. So what's key here is that a debate isn't really a speech. So you're gonna have your facts, but you're not just gonna go up there and read. You're gonna be glancing on it, but you're not gonna read word for word. So when you realize that loophole, you incorporate it into your speech and what you had in cross-ex. Especially when it gets to your rebuttals, you don't want to just go back and repeat everything that you already stated. You want to actually attack not the person, but attack what they stated in their presentation. So definitely it's not a speech. It's a debate. We need clash. So that's where when you get the loophole, you definitely state it. You don't want to go sit and be like, oh man, I should have said that. It's best to say it because that's the point of a debate. I hope that helped.
So with that being said, thank you, Samantha. With that, remember, as I was just telling you, Jacob, it's all about the clash. So whether the loophole is something that you see, remember I told you in your prep, you have to now know what you know and be confident so that you can listen and adapt in the actual round. So that use that loophole to your advantage of, okay, I gotta hit that. But if the loophole happens to you, you have again prepped and somebody was on your team that says, I think you got something that might not work there or might get exposed. You might have known that, oh, they caught that loophole that Samantha told me about last week. How can I pivot out of it? I say my response to that again is your preparation, Jacob. You have to know what you know. And even if you know that you have a loophole, how can I pivot in the moment to again, I still have a rebuttal. So I still have an opportunity to gather myself and come back to say, whereas you might made a good point to expose something in my argument, I still believe that I have the stronger side because of not the X, but the Y and the Z. Man, they got my X. I now got to put the X away, but I still got my Y and my Z. Sometimes we do get caught in things like that. Key takeaways, though, plan your cross-examination path. You have to kind of be able to do this amongst each other as that drill I told you earlier, with challenge each other so that you can get used to how do I think quickly on my feet? How do I change not my emotion, but change my strategy and pivot mid-round? Be very judge-oriented. Still, even if you feel like they caught you in a loophole, Jacob, don't let the judge know that they caught you in a loophole. Keep your confidence. You see how everything comes back to quarters 1 and 2? If you have those quarters, that pregame in that quarter 1 and 2, then yeah, you might get caught sometimes I'm a boxing fan. Sometimes you might get knocked down, but how do you get back up? Because I can get back up and still win the fight. Train daily. You have to be willing to put this time in for at least 1 hour for the next day. Like we're about to wrap up now, but then Samantha is going to help out my 2 students that are actually coming. They have debate practice from 3 to 5. They go to practice every day because we have to leave Sunday to head to Dar es Salaam. So we have to get ready every day, every day, every day. And that is my time. I will send that PowerPoint, this cross-examination PowerPoint to Ms. Farissa. But in this last 3 to 4 minutes, hopefully you like myself and Samantha's presentation. Samantha, I will let you close with, I didn't hit a lot on it, but once you now, Samantha, the last thing I would say, if you would mind speaking on it, once you've been through your cross-examination, how do we close in that rebuttal? And then I'll got it from there. How would you say that now I've had cross-examination, I've gotten information that's going to help my rebuttal? How do I close strong?
All right. First, thank you all so much for being with us today. I know it was a lot, but thank you for your engagement. I hope you took notes. I would say after you presented your points, you poked holes in their argument, you rebutted their argument. Now in the closing, you want it to be a nice summary, but also you want to have a punchline. It's like earlier, Professor Westbrook mentioned the OJ trial, and Victor said, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. So you might not have a slogan or a saying like that, but you want it to be convincing and persuasive. Because again, you want to persuade the judge to vote in your favor why you should win the debate. So what we always close with at the end, when we wrap up, this is why I'm right, this is my facts, this is why the opponent's wrong, because this is what they admitted was wrong, or my facts say what they said wasn't true. Based on all these reasons, that is why you should cast your vote or your ballot in favor of whether you're the affirmative or the negative. You guys may have different names for it. I'm used to it in Jamaica. We called it the government and the opposition. So whether it is whatever side you're on, say based on all these reasons that we just gave you, that's your last sentence, this is why you should cast your vote in favor of our team.
And she did exactly what I wanted, because guess what she just did? She closed confidently and told the judge what she wanted him or her to do. That's my last point that I knew that Samantha did a great job of doing. Keep that confidence, even if, back to, was it you, Jacob, to ask that question? Yep, Jacob. So Jacob, man, you just got beat up in that boxing round. They got you in the cross-ex. Jacob, you still have an opportunity in your rebuttal or your partner to convince that judge that even though I might have got knocked down, I have the stronger side of the argument, and tell them what you want them to do. This is why you should cast your vote on the side of the affirmative, or this is why you should cast your ballot for the negative. Don't never let that go without being said. Tell the judge what you want them to do. So in my last thing, I'm gonna tell you, I want you to be confident. I want you to trust your teammates. I want you to understand that your preparation is enough over these next 2 weeks. But finally, what I want you to tell yourself to do is, again, give yourself some grace and tell yourself that you love yourself, because ultimately you are taking a step that many people wouldn't want to do, and you are a winner. You have already won before the race has begun. Again, I repeat, in the words of Marcus Garvey, confidence. Confidence is the ability to believe that you've already won before the race has even begun, or in this case, debate. If you don't have it, you've lost twice before it even has begun, because you're going to have all that nervous energy and scare. And that's my time. Any questions for Rissa or anybody else before I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording?